because there is a lot going on in America right now. There is a whole lot going on in America, and with the Iran situation, we can only trust the Creator to help us as we navigate this time. All right, I'm just screen. We're at so we already did in Shemot chapter 30. Yesterday in Shemot 35, we watched Benei Yisrael bring offerings with willing heart, gold, fabrics, oil, skill. The people said yes to the Creator's invitation. And in Shemot 36, we see what happens when willing hearts meet wise hands. Betzalel, Oholiav, and the wise-hearted team don't just talk about serving. They actually build exactly what the Creator commanded. The people keep bringing offerings every morning until there's so much that Moshe has to say, stop, we already have more than enough. This chapter is a picture of overflow and holy or set apart offer. In Shemot 36, something almost unheard of happens in the Torah. Betzalel, Oholiav, and the wise-hearted craftsmen are working on the Mishkan. And Benei Yisrael keep bringing offerings every morning, not once, not twice, day after day. Their generosity, like it turned into a rhythm. Then the workers stop and they go to Moshe and they say, the people are bringing more than enough for all the work that the Creator commanded. So Moshe sends a message through the camp. No man, no woman should do any more work for the offering. And the people are restrained from bringing because the material is sufficient for all the work and even to leave over. Let's think about that. The people's hearts are so willing and the Creator's blessing is so abundant that the leader has to say, please stop giving. We already have enough. This is what it looks like when a community, its gifts and the Creator's provision align. Not scarcity, not pressure, but holy sufficiency and overflow. We're going to look at chapter 36 in groups. We want to start by reading the first two verses. And it says, and Betzalel and Oholiab and every wise-hearted man in whom the Creator has given wisdom and understanding to know how to do all the work for the service of the set-apart place shall do according to all that as commanded. And Moshe called Betzalel and Oholiab and every wise-hearted man in his own heart. The Creator had given wisdom, and everyone whose heart lifted him up to come and do the work. So they're called to do the work, and it is said that they did according to all that the Creator commanded. It means that their greatness isn't in, so these guys weren't great in terms of invention, right? But they were great in faithful obedience. They use their skills, but they keep them under the Creator's pattern. True wisdom is creativity submitted to the Creator, not creativity competing with Him. Right? We also see where Moshe only called those whose hearts created the Creator as stirred up. Right? And this is important. He had to do this because the Mishkan is not built on reluctant service. The Creator wants willing workers whose hearts are already leaning toward Him. When the heart is stirred, the work becomes worship, not just labor. In verses 3 to 6. Okay, you're saying something. Okay, verse.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Verse 3, and it says, and they received from Moshe all the contribution which the children of Israel had brought for the work of the service of making the set-apart place. But they still brought to him voluntary offerings every morning. So all the craftsmen who work as a set-apart, who were doing all the work of the set-apart place came, each from the work he was doing, and they spoke to Moshe, saying, the people bring much more than enough for the service of the work which the Creator has commanded us to do. Then Moshe commanded, and they sent this word throughout the camp, saying, "Let neither man nor woman do any work for the contribution of the set apart place." And the people were withheld from bringing. For what they had was enough for all the work to be done, more than enough. What a favor upon them that they can bring more than enough. And this happened every morning. And the fact that the Torah mentions every morning, teaching us about the offerings of Benei Israel, what this shows is their generosity. Their generosity became a habit, and it wasn't just an emotional moment. Every morning they did it. As the Creator renewed His mercies each day, they renewed their giving. Their offerings mirror the Creator's faithfulness, and this was consistent. This was not occasional. But after that, Moshe, it was very spiritually important for Moshe to tell the people to stop bringing offerings. Why? Because it shows that true leadership knows when to say enough is enough. So Moshe wasn't trying to build an empire. He honors the fact that the Creator's work has a clear scope. Once the need was met and more, he protects both the people and the project from endless collecting. And that's good. So he's not greedy or gravelicious. He was just to the point and very attentive to what was required of him in duty. We're going to read now Shemot, Exodus chapter 36, and we're going to continue from verse 8 through to 13. Then all the wise-hearted ones among them who worked on the dwelling place made 10 curtains woven of fine linen and blue and purple and scarlet material. They made them with cherubim, the work of a skilled workman. The length of each curtain was 28 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains having one measure. And he joined 5 curtains, one to another, and the other 5 curtains he joined one to another. And he made loops of blue on the edge of the end curtain of one set. The same he did on the edge of the end curtain of the other set. So 50 loops he made on one curtain, and 50 loops he made on the edge of the end curtain of the second set. The loops held curtain to another. And he made 50 hooks of gold and joined the curtains to each other with the hooks, and the dwelling place became one. So there's a description of the inner curtains. Many of them came together and were put together and made one. Right? And remember, we have skilled workers working together, right? From fine twisted linen and with different colors, right? And it says that the cherubim was there, and it was woven into them, and this must have been a very artistic work. All the curtains share the same measurement, and all the curtains had the same pattern. So altogether, it was 5 curtains that joined together. Then the other 5 and connect the 2 sets with loops of blue and gold clasps. The Torah says the Mishkan becomes one. Many separate pieces, all crafted to the same standard, are united into a single dwelling for the Creator. Is there a spiritual picture in the many curtains being joined into one for the Mishkan? What we know is that it appears that the Creator takes many individual pieces like the tribes, like our lives, and he joins them into one dwelling for his presence. And it's a sign of unity. And unity does not erase uniqueness. It brings different parts together under one purpose. Take out, for instance, the cherubims. They are woven into the curtains, right? And why would this though? Why would this be? And then would people actually see the cherubim woven into curtains? That must have been something to behold. It must have been very beautiful, and for the persons who have the eye for these kind of design and art. It must be pleasant for them, right? So that is something that we must appreciate the creative benefits and the characteristics and skills that the Creator bestow upon his people. And we saw next they made 11 curtains of goat hair. Above that, they had coverings of ram skin. So the inside there is beauty, and the outside there is a strength because you have a ram skin on it, right? It had layers that resist weather, sand, and time. And the design, the Mishkan was actually designed so that the beauty of what the Creator wanted would come real, and it would have been guarded. We can read on from 40 verses 14 through to 19. And he made curtains of goat's hair for the tent over the dwelling place. He made 11 curtains. Right? I think we had read that part already. So we could take it from verse 20.
But I wonder what those curtains look like since they didn't have a loom. And it's just here. Wonder if the weave it, crochet it, what?
It was woven, so I think it's something similar to the crochet that we are familiar with. And I guess that is on those I believe that those who go close to it will actually see that part. But all I'm thinking about is the purple and the blue and the scarlet and those things. From a distance, those must have been some solid, very fancy looking colors, designed for the Mishkan. I've searched on the internet to see if I could see anything that really represents it, but nothing matches, all the descriptions that I've read in this. Nothing really. Verse 20 through to 34 says, and for the dwelling place he made boards of acacia wood. Right? He made boards of acacia wood standing up. The length of each board was 10 cubits, and the width of each board a cubit and a half. Each board had 2 tenons for binding one to another, so he did to all the boards of the dwelling place. And he made boards for the dwelling place, 20 boards for the south side. And he made 40 sockets of silver to go under the 20 boards, and 2 sockets under each of the boards for its 2 tenons. And for the other side of the dwelling place, for the north side, he made 20 boards, and there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under the one board and 2 sockets under the other board. And he made 6 boards for the west side of the dwelling place. And he made 2 boards for the 2 back corners of the dwelling place. And they were double beneath, and similarly they were complete to the top by 1 ring. So he did to both of them for the 2 corners. And there were 8 boards, and their silver sockets, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under each of the boards. Verse 31, and he made bars of acacia wood, 5 for the boards on one side of the dwelling place, and 5 bars for the boards on the other side of the dwelling place, and 5 bars for the boards of the dwelling place at the rear westward. And he made the middle bar to pass through the boards from one end to the other. And he overlaid the boards with gold, and their rings he made of gold to be holders for the bars, and overlaid the bars with gold. So there we see the craftsmen. They made upright boards of acacia wood for the Mishkan. And of course, the measurements were stipulated. These boards stood side by side and formed the wall. I'm reading this. I'm wondering if we had read this in chapter 34 or 33. I think one of those chapters was also very descriptive and very specific, right? But what do the hidden boards and the bars teach us about how the Creator builds? I don't know. I just know that construction is a special skill, right? It is special, but the fact that this is mentioned, it shows that the Creator is cares about structure, and He cares about the structure that we don't even see, right? A lot of persons would just focus on what can be seen, but sometimes it's the hidden structure that had the hidden aspects that hold the building stronger and hold it up. Well, we have people like that in our community who they don't enough up themselves. They work from the background and they do a lot of work, right? They are like the boards and bars in our community, right? And not everybody really has the calling or the passion to be in the limelight or be in the front line. But the good thing is that they are steady and they hold things up, and sometimes these people are the kindest and most faithful servants. And those people, the Creator actually, I believe, has a special blessing for those persons who actually continue to work and give, and nobody actually knows about it. Let's look at verse 35. And he made a veil of blue and purple and scarlet material and fine worked linen. It was made with cherubim, the work of a skilled workman. And he made 4 columns of acacia wood for it and overlaid them with gold, with their hooks of gold. And he cast 4 sockets of silver for them. And he made a covering for the tent door of blue and purple and scarlet material and fine woven linen made by a weave, and its 5 columns with their hooks. And he overlaid their tops and their rings with gold, but their 5 sockets were of bronze. So there we see the veil and the screen, and we see how it was set up. There are 4 pillars overlaid with gold, set in silver sockets, and this veil separates the holy place from the most holy place. Right, there was mention of the Mishkan, the Creator. Right, then we see where they make a screen for the entrance of the tent, with the same colors that were mentioned before, the blue and the purple and the scarlet, hanging on 5 pillars with their hooks and bases. These 2 pieces, the inner veil and the outer screen, define the way into the presence of the Creator. They don't close off access forever, they organize it and honor it. All right, so we're at the end of the chapter, and there's a lot more for us to glean from this chapter. One may wonder why is it important that the Creator set up veils and screens in the Mishkan. Well, the veil and the screen, well, even ignoring that, is if it's a place that the Creator intended to dwell, then they are approaching His presence and set apartness, right? So they cannot be drawing near every time. There is a time and a place for everything. And I do not believe that the Creator wanted to keep the people away, but they had to learn reverence and they had to learn order in His presence. Right? A lot of persons today do not respect order, but there's no institution in the world that don't try to establish ways to operate to maintain order. So we want to be close to the Creator. We have to bear in mind that He is holy. And when we are at the sacred appointments, or we decide to worship or pray to Him, we must approach this with great reverence and respect, and do not take it lightly. Humble ourselves and remember that obedience matters when we come before the Creator. All right, so in summary for chapter 36, It is a living picture of what happens when the Creator's instructions and human obedience move together. Betzalel, Oholiav, and their wise-hearted team bring their skills under the voice of the Creator, not above it. Their eyes were stirred, and their hands simply followed. Benei Yisrael, the children of Israel, they wake up every morning after morning choosing generosity again and again. Their offerings don't come from pressure. They flow from gratitude and renewal. And then when we reach that rare moment where Moshe had to say, enough, we have more than what we need. Behind the visible beauty of the Mishkan are hidden structures, quiet boards and bars, veils and screens that teach reverence. Today, they form a dwelling place where the Creator's presence can rest among Benei Israel. So, as we reflect on this chapter, let it call us to the pattern that hopefully it will stir someone's heart, and it will make our will bring together faithful hands and steady generosity, and will encourage us to have a deep trust in the Creator, that He will bring us to a place of adequacy, a place that is set apart, a place that is enough. Shalom. I want us to